DIY.
DIYs, before I get into this story, let's first of all say rest in peace to Quincy Jones. I want to start this off with a quote by Quincy Jones that I think relates to this outrageous Drake story that is circulating here. Not even a story, but something that actually happened at a Toronto Raptors versus Sacramento Kings game where he was awkwardly staring down at a professional athlete at his job. Before we talk about that, let's talk about this quote really quick. Shout out to my guy, Eloquent, who drew attention to this quote by Quincy Jones. It says, Quincy Jones once said, "An ego is just an overdressed insecurity." What a bar. Yeah, that's a bar right there.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
I said an ego is an overdressed insecurity. Speaking about overdressed insecurities, there was a Toronto Raptor game over the weekend where Vince Carter actually got his just due praise for being the Toronto Raptors legend, the Toronto legend that he is. He got his jersey retired, the first time a jersey was retired at the Toronto Raptors facility. A night that should have been about just the legend became quickly about other things. Matter of fact, before we even get into that, Vince Carter shouts out Drake, who chose to go to this as opposed to Louisiana Fest, which is interesting. But this is what Vince Carter had to say mid-speech. He even gave him a shout out, man. Come on, man. This is about Vince tonight.
Even in my abilities. Let's give a shout out to this guy right here, Drake. Our brother.
That response is much better than what we saw at the Limp Bizkit concert, huh?
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Not everybody hates Drake. Not everybody hates Drake.
Thank you for being here. We've had a couple of conversations, and it's hard to believe that you said, I still don't believe you. But Drake told me that one of the games I threw my armband to him. And how about that? Freaking icon here that I threw my armband to. See, I be knowing.
So if you couldn't catch it over all of the, this is not the direct sound. Vince Carter is talking about a time where he had a conversation with Drake, and Drake tells him, back when I was a young Toronto native, I went to a game and you threw your wristband and I caught it with my teeth. Or he didn't say that, but he caught it and he was like, man, I got Vince Carter's armband. And he's like, Vince is like, damn, and you being the icon you are, that's crazy. In a night that he should have been, I think the right thing to do in this situation, no matter how much of a legend you are in your city, Drake, the correct thing to do is to bow down and make sure that the focus stays on Vince. Them superpowers get neutralized. I can only watch in silence. No, he couldn't help himself. He could not help himself. What happened? Well, here on shout out to my guy, It's a Vibe. He says, Drake takes shots at DeMar DeRozan live during the Toronto Raptors game broadcast tonight. He quote says, yes, if you ever put up a DeRozan banner up, I'll go up there and pull it down myself. Is that what you're going to ask? Okay. What's up, Moni? What are we doing? This is on a live broadcast?
Speaking of national treasure, yes, if you ever put up a DeRozan banner up, I'll go up there and pull it down myself. That's the answer to the question. Is that what you're going to ask?
I know that audio is terrible, but he said, speaking of national treasure, and then he cuts the announcer off, Drake. And Drake? And says, yes, if you ever put up a DeRozan banner up, I'll go up there and pull it down myself. Is that what you're going to ask? Are you hurt? Are you hurt? Who hurt you, sis? So obviously, Drake has every right to be or feel a certain way or be angry about his friend, DeMar DeRozan, our once friend, DeMar DeRozan, who used to be a Toronto Raptor himself, who, they had somewhat of a friendship. He has every right to feel a certain way when DeMar DeRozan, as the screenshot shows, was a special guest in the Not Like Us video where Kendrick Lamar says some hurtful things to Drake. And he pops up. His name gets mentioned in the song. Isn't that okay? And he's a Compton native. Isn't that okay? Nah, Drake wasn't having it. Matter of fact, he made sure that this night was about everyone knowing where he stands with DeMar DeRozan. And it's such odd behavior because, fam, not even a week ago, Drake's shooter, top 5, was seen trolling Russell Westbrook at the Toronto Raptors game after Westbrook pulled up to the pop-out show with Kendrick Lamar. Gentlemen, OVOers, what's the plan here? You have no plan. You have no plan. 100 gigs for your head top. Didn't work. All these Latin and abstract collaborations, they're not charting. What we doing? We are going to somebody's job now and harassing them? I mean, fans do this all the time, but you guys are professionals, and you're taking a night off from your job in the studio to go talk shit to professional athletes. Did you see this? Let me make sure you get a refresher.
Suck, Westbrook, man.
So Marlon's
Suck.
Marlon's going to
He sucks. Suck.
So I assume these Toronto natives have had conversations about their plan to, whenever they come to this. I don't know. This is not a plan. Who sits here and says, okay, first phase of this revenge tour is we're going to go to see the athletes, the ones that work out on a regular basis and can probably kick our ass without security. Yes, we're going to attack them first, and then we're going to show our strength in numbers. That happened not even a week ago, and then Drake follows up, and he jumps on the telecast. But Drake wasn't done. This has nothing to do with his issue with DeMar DeRozan, but I thought this was weird. As I watched and I saw more information about this young lady, I don't know her name, but apparently this is a friend of Drake's who seems to be at the game with her significant other. Seems to be her significant other. Drake just can't help himself. He's out here draking again. Look at what he says, ladies. You tell me how awkward this is. He's just fitting that profile, isn't he? He's just becoming that guy that has been described in great detail during that battle 8 months ago.
Oh, yeah. Let's get a shot of here. Look at that. Wowzers. An absolute national treasure right there. 101.90.
Gawking at another man's woman. Isn't that you, Drake? It's awkward. It's weird. Well, after he jumped off that telecast and started strutting around in his green mink coat, this is something else he did. Drake took it upon himself sometime during the game to stand up next to his boy Chubbs. See if Chubbs really crashed something. He stood next to Chubbs and decided, this is the moment I'm going to stare down DeMar DeRozan and let him know, let him show a show of power, intimidation. You professional athlete. Mind you, can I show you something real quick that I didn't catch the first few times? Somebody in his comments had to bring it to my attention. Notice how hard he's staring him down when the man is in tune at his job, talking and listening to a referee as De'Aaron Fox is asking him something. He has his head turned the other direction. Look what happens when he looks in the direction, just slightly, of Drake. And look at where their heads go. Both of them. Look at it. Look it up. I don't care about you. I don't care about you. I don't care about you. We're not here for you. We're here for Vince Carter. Just looking at the scoreboard, all of a sudden you caring about stats and shit. What is going on here?
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Man walks away and now he's back to staring again. Yeah, we showed him. And he does this while in fucking pink barrettes. Oh, God.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth.
You couldn't write a better story than this. What Tubi movie is this? I missed this on my timeline. In pink barrettes. That man had somebody put pink barrettes on him. I'm going to show him tonight. I'm going to get a shot of him tonight. In pink barrettes, this grown man is staring down a professional athlete who works out for a living He pulled out the cute pink barrettes. He also has a chain on. Apparently, this chain was given to him by a comedian friend of his. What's wrong with the chain? The barrettes are already enough of a story. What's wrong with the chain? Come peep this out. Drake reveals his custom chain gifted by comedian Ben the Don.
Cause how the fuck I'm still up?
First part of the chain, let's just mute this shit, says 8 down. Okay. All right, sis. It's given, baddie, friends. You trying to tell me this nigga showed up to a professional athlete's job with pink barrettes and a bad bitch chain and stared him down until he looked in his direction? You got to be making this up. At this point, he's got to be parroting himself. There's no fucking way he's doing this and he doesn't understand what we're getting ready to say. He's got to be wanting this. Like, to me, it feels like, do you want to fall off? Because at first I was suggesting things that I felt came from a positive place. Like, hey, maybe the guy just doesn't understand how much leaving will make people remember him and miss him, even as fans. It's getting hard to defend this late 30-year-old man. Oh my gosh. What is this? Something else I thought was interesting. Shout out to Mr. Bubsy408. He says, damn, Aubrey chose to be at a Raptors game mean mugging his ops instead of being at Wheezy Fest. Oh, man.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
Yeah, that happened. You know, the same Wayne that everybody was up in arms about and putting story posts in support of, and how much of a travesty it was that Jay-Z and whoever else was in charge at the NFL didn't put him on that Super Bowl stage. Yeah, that one. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find this video real quick, because this is a side quest at this point. We're not done with you, Aubrey. We're not done. Because what the hell? Lil Wayne. Matter of fact, no. Let's go to Twitter. Twitter's gonna give me an instant access to this one. What the hell is this? What is this? I just can't imagine a Vince Carter looking at this and being like, man, why in the hell did I shout him out? What are you? Oh man, It's like Baby Boy when he told Tyrese, when Ving Rhames told Tyrese, oh, youngsters. What the hell is going on? Lil Wayne. Where is it at? Oh, here it goes. Oh my goodness. Check this out. This was meanwhile, across the border in all the states and all of that in Louisiana, this is what Lil Wayne had to say. Disclaimer, the live performance, as many hits as we heard, because this is a legend that's getting ready to speak, their live performance did not do it justice, in my opinion. That's just my editorial opinion. Look at this.
You know, during my lifetime, the first Super Bowl was here, I made sure I bought tickets at the beginning of the season. And you know, I did the same when I moved to Miami. And I was wishing my team make it. And guess who made it that year? The motherfucking Saints.
Shout out to them.
I was able to give my mama that suite. She was able to bring my family and other people from New Orleans, and they had a fucking ball.
That's amazing.
That moment I said to myself, I want to be on stage for the Super Bowl one day in front of my mom.
Who wouldn't?
And I worked my ass off to get that fucking position, and it was ripped away from me.
It was ripped away from him. Why is this so difficult? You know the obvious reasons for the OG to just say congratulations to Kendrick. I've yet to hear congratulations to him. You know what? If it wasn't me, that's the person I could see really holding that down as the first solo hip hop artist at the Super Bowl. No, we get the same kind of behavior that we're getting from old Barrette Jimmy. Pink Barrette Aubrey. We're getting the same kind of entitlement. The same kind of this is about me when it really isn't about him. Because the Super Bowl's been in many different places where the person that's from home wasn't the person that was chosen. Very weird. But at least at the end of this, he shows a level of humility that I think even Drake wasn't able to show at that Raptors game.
But this motherfucking moment right here, they can't take that, man. They can't take that from me.
That's what's up. Why wasn't Drake there? Huh?
I remember you was conflicted.
Something's going on over there. None of my business, though. Let's keep on going. So, just when you thought the pink beret bandit, that's a name. Just when you thought he was done. No. He's not done. He's not done. Drakey Poo had something to say under his breath at the end of the game. This is my last chance to let him know how I really feel. Yeah, he looked at he looked at me. Yeah, he looked at me. And I looked the other way. So what? He felt my energy. He felt my light-skin aura. That's what he did at the end of the game. As the teams went their opposing ways. Fuck out of here, pussy. In case you missed that, let's rewind it. He says, F out of here, Pussy. Under his breath. To the enjoyment of Chubbs. One more time. Aww. Well, that man is damn near back in Sacramento.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
That man made his way back to Sacramento, and he's eating. Fuck out of here. So look like a ventriloquist. Fuck out of here. Drake reminds. I forget the name of the movie, but it was a movie I saw one time. It came on at 3 a.m. in the morning. It's one of them black and white movies where, you know what I'm saying, like they talk like this, and the guy said, "Oh, just give me 5 minutes alone with that guy, huh? All it is 5 minutes. All it is 5 minutes alone with that guy, huh? What is the plan here? What is the plan? You go to a man's job and harass him with dreamy eyes, pink barrettes, and an 8-down chain with beads on it. What's the plan here? If your plan is for people to want to forget about you, good job. If your plan is to never have the reputation you had before this battle, good job. You're achieving with flying colors, pink specifically. So you may ask, well, what did DeMar DeRozan have to say about all of this? He had a few different reactions I thought that were hilarious, but this is how grown men handle things. They asked him, they said, man, you know, they kind of gave him an update about the things that Drake said on the live telecast, which, by the way, as the ambassador of the Toronto Raptors, you would think that they would hold things to a different light. You know, players all the time get fined for just insinuating that the refs were unfair. But your brand ambassador is out here openly going at a guy that didn't even request to leave the Raptors, but got traded from the Raptors the year that they won the finals. He got traded to the San Antonio Spurs. He didn't want to leave. He talks about it. Him and Kyle Lowry wanted to really build that out. He got traded. But all this talk, man, I just can't imagine that that's going to be something that gets ignored in the next conversation about renewing that ambassador position. But DeMar DeRozan, what did you have to say about all of this?
You thought how 10 might look next to 15 and 7?
Nah, it's crazy because, you know, I try not to think about it. It's just more so cool to see Vince go up than, without a doubt, Cal going to be up there. I rarely think about mines going up there unless it's mentioned to me, it's beyond honor. I'm always humbled just the thought of that even being an opportunity.
That's what humility looks like.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
DeMar's not here saying the jersey retirement got ripped apart from me. Got ripped away from me. That's not what DeMar said. DeMar didn't say, hey, before y'all get in these questions, let's talk about that sneaky shit that Drake said. Nothing. You know why? Because he's a professional acting like a professional at his profession. There's a certain way that you handle yourself when you're at work. He goes on to say,
DeMar, in tonight's broadcast, Drake said, if you ever put up the DeRozan banner up, I'll go up there and put it down myself. What's your reaction to that?
Well, he gonna have a long way to climb to take it down. So I tell him good luck.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and
See, it's shit like it's the walk off for me. One more time for the walk off.
Way to climb to take it down. So tell them good luck.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, bro. Thank you.
Professional ass athlete. What do you think you finna do? The man works out for a living. He got a special type of Gatorade. Cause he's a professional athlete. What are you finna do? Rap at him? What you finna do? Drop. What you finna do to him? Leave that man alone. The walk-off is everything. And he just still handled it with class. Can you imagine, just a side note, can you imagine this nigga Drake climbing up the rafters as they say, no, come back down. I'm gonna do this. Barrettes just flinging in the air. These right here. Just beeping next to each other. Sound like one of the instruments at the Guitar Center. As he pulls it down like Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan in the end of Rush Hour 1. To do what? For you to get pushed off the premises so they can put it back up again? That is so catty. You know, DeMar DeRozan waited until after he clocked out of work because that's what professionals do. And he decided to post up a funny meme. This is the meme that he put up on his IG story.
Ass damn. Man, I got mind control over Debo. He be like, shut the fuck up. I be quiet. But when he leave, I be talking again.
What is going on? Grown men in hip hop. Grown men in mainstream rap. What the fuck is going on? What part of the game is this? What stripes do you earn for going to somebody's job and seeing whether or not they'll crash out? He didn't demolish you in 3 songs. He didn't go pen a PDF file anthem. No. The guy that caused all of this backlash, the guy that's been silently watching you fall apart while accumulating more streams and more attention than ever before, he's preparing for the Super Bowl. That's the one that you gave up on during the Hard Part 6. You got this shit burnt the fuck out. Ugh. Where was all this energy when it was time to rap? Yeah, you rap back. What happened when the heat turned up? What happened when people started to turn? What happened when pop culture that you had a stranglehold on said, well, this is interesting? What happened when the things that you thought were going to be secure forever gave you a bit of vulnerability? You are spiraling, sir. I wasn't sure about it because you just never know what somebody's plan is. Plus, I came up on NBA coaches like Phil Jackson, who even when you thought they were down, they still had a plan. These niggas ain't got no motherfucking plan. They're crashing out. Grown ass men crashing out. And I really believe, because somebody brought to my attention, I think it might have been Naveal, I was watching a video where he talks about top 5, like saying, some disparaging things about OVO. I don't trust any of that shit. You know what it feels like to me? It feels like they're fishing for a crash out. It sounds like they're fishing for a crash out. Because if somebody loses a life after this situation, and they could say, hey, I had nothing to do with that, but it was because of them instigating, they felt like they did something. I think that people fish for crash outs when they feel dead, but they're still alive. I look at Mr. Barrette Man. And all I see are bags under the eyes. All I see is somebody that can't buy enough skincare products to take away the stress of what it means to be him every single day. Not knowing what people are saying about you when you walk outside. Well, this is what happens when you don't take accountability. I don't care what your walk of life is. This is what happens when you don't grow up. And whether you want to believe it or not, every dog has their day, including me. Every dog has their day. But this questionable, awkward, staring at professional, I want to emphasize that as much as I can. It's a professional fucking athlete that can dunk on you. That's who you staring down first? DIYers, explain this shit. Yeah, that's all I got to say about that. You let me know what you think.
DIY.
DIYers, if you enjoyed this content, make sure that you hit the like button and maybe even consider subscribing. Come on, man. Stop being greedy. Peace.